We are live there. I'm gonna add the pros page. Boom. Get in on it.
Nice.
Daddy-O's in the house.
Dad's in the house.
I'm gonna fire up Instagram.
All right.
All the
Hey, while you're over there,
yeah,
David,
yeah, man.
can you? Hey. Now we're all right.
Good.
I'm just gonna do this. Oh,
Turn up your own headphones.
thing of dang beauty.
Hey,
You know, we're moving up in the world here, Dave. Here on Karate in the Garage, we got headphone mixes now. We got a couple of lights.
I like to see this respect in the comments.
What?
Jim Michelle Kelly saying, "Hey to the old man," says, "Hello, Mr. Landreth."
Ah.
Respect, deep respect.
Deep respect. Are we ready to hit the theme song?
Yeah, man. Fire it
We
up.
ready for it? Okay. Our friends on Instagram, just letting you know, we can't see the comments that you're leaving.
I can. Look, check it out.
Never mind. We totally can see the comments. Look at this.
Yep.
All right. But you won't be able to hear the theme song, but just know that it's great.
We're gonna bob our heads. Hit it, Maestro.
Folks, friends, everybody, welcome to Karate in the Garage with Dave and Joe Landreth from the Brothers Landreth. It is February 13th, the eve of the day of St. Valentine. And I just want to say, don't buy chocolate from Shoppers Drug Mart tomorrow.
Why not?
Because it'll be on sale on Tuesday. Or what day is it today?
Probably on sale Tuesday.
No, it's Saturday. It'll probably be on sale Tuesday, but it might be on sale Monday. No, it won't, because it's a bank holiday here in Canada.
So Tuesday, you had it right.
Man, I nailed it. I didn't even know. Don't buy chocolate tomorrow for your lover or your partner. Buy it on Tuesday.
Unless you're really flush with cash. Unless you got the kind of money.
Yeah, unless you're like, I can spend $35 on a chocolate bunny. I don't care.
Unless you're the kind of dude who drives around throwing $100 bills out of the sunroof of your Tesla.
Or dudette.
Anybody. Hey, Joe. Happy Saturday.
What an intro. Welcome, Dave.
Karate in the Garage. Hey, everybody on Instagram. It's nice to hang out with you, too. We've been neglecting you due to technical limitations, but we're here.
If only, let's blame it on Facebook. If only Facebook would let StreamYard also include Instagram. If only. It's probably not that.
Something to do with the orientation. That's the problem. You can do it, but it would just show the sort of narrow spot.
You can do it. You can stream.
Yeah, but it would only show it would just show this. It would basically just show your filing cabinet.
Well, we could do this.
Potentially.
Oh, no.
Careful, dude.
Sorry, man.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Karate in the Garage. Terrence and Philip, our official brand ambassadors. They don't come cheap.
No, they don't. They don't. We're gonna get shut down for having them in there.
Absolutely.
Today's episode of Karate in the Garage is brought to you by Mythos Pedals. Be heroic.
That's a great
It's a great hat. Yeah.
I love the felt badge.
I know. The whole thing is really nice. It's a nice hat.
Zach does nice stuff.
He doesn't mess around. That's not a paid advertisement, by the way. I just love Zach, and today's show is brought to you by him. It's also brought to you by Warm Audio. Also not a paid advertisement. We just like their stuff.
But this paid advertisement brought to you by Colgate toothpaste, which is the finest toothpaste.
Yeah, if you think your mouth is clean, you're wrong.
Joe, so you're doing double duty this morning. You were doing a sort of
spin cycle class.
Yeah, you were doing a soul cycle. No, you did a pop-up masterclass on Zoom for members of our Patreon account.
It's true.
And I watched it sort of from a distance as I was trying to get my kid to eat grilled cheese sandwich.
Finn wouldn't eat grilled cheese sandwich?
He doesn't ever eat anything I want him to eat.
Right.
And then the moment he gets out of the high chair, he's eating handfuls of mud and attacking dust bunnies like they're chocolate cake. Yeah, kids are messed up, dude. But I just thought that may be a cool launching off point. There's some I like I said, I wasn't like super close to the conversation because I was distracted trying
AKA he wasn't paying attention.
Otherwise known as not paying attention. But I did hear some really cool questions and comments come up and some really cool discussion. But also thought it'd be kind of a cool thing to plug Patreon a little bit. I mean, I don't want to be overwhelming with it, but if you are a member of our Patreon page, then there are some sort of fun things that we do sporadically and poorly planned, of course, but things like a Zoom masterclass with Joe. We have posted a little bit of exclusive content there, some behind the scenes stuff from the sessions that we're doing for the new record.
Correct.
Stuff like that. That's it. Check it out. If you're into that, that's your cup of tea. Have a cup of tea.
If you like tea. I'm more of a coffee guy. Anna likes tea. You know what? Anna made her own iced tea last night.
Oh, nice. That sounds delicious.
Yeah.
That makes me thirsty.
I feel like this is the part of the podcast where the podcast people are trying to be interesting by just telling you the normal stuff they did. And I'm always like, I hate it when they do that.
Get through it. Let's just get through it.
Yeah, yeah. So what are we talking about today? Today is a riveting episode, folks. Today is riveting because we don't know what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, usually we have a bit of a game plan, but we've been working so hard this week on cutting tracks for the record
and getting the lighting in here just
right. But
bing,
we've been albeit a pinch distracted.
Yeah,
which is okay.
Yeah,
but I thought maybe you could go through some of the things that you talked about, because there were some really great questions, and there was some really great discussion. Maybe a little less guitar centric, because I feel like this sort of the masterclass was like decidedly guitar, and I think there's a lot of people joining us that are kind of curious about all kinds of things.
Sure.
But like maybe riff on that. What were some great topics that jumped out to you?
I see what you're doing. You're putting it all on me now.
100%.
Classic Big Brother
shift.
Hey, I see what you're doing, you devil. Yeah. What did we talk about? Well, we talked about a bunch of different things. I mean, like one thing that I'm really enjoying talking about and learning about is doing a lot of engineering, and I'm learning a lot from my dear friend and collaborator and landlord Paul Yee, who is the engineer here in this building of Studio A, and graciously lets me be the bridge troll in his Studio B. Pardon me, which is where we are. Welcome to Sandbox Recording. That's what this studio is called.
This studio is called Sandbox.
Sandbox.
Yeah, I love that.
Because our thing is like, we just want to play in the sandbox,
Yeah, and we've used that euphemism many times.
Yeah, talking about making records. It's just about playing in the sandbox. So this is Sandbox Recording.
I love that. I love
it too.
Cool.
Yeah, and so I've learned a lot from Paul since I moved in here in August, and he's just such a wealth of knowledge. So we talked a little bit about that, and like the signal path that we're often using.
Cool.
For guitars and vocals and stuff like that, which actually is applications are different but often very similar. And yeah, that kind of stuff. I don't know. Does anybody want to hear about any of that?
Do you guys want to hear about engineering? Does that light your candle?
Hey guys, good morning from Christchurch, New Zealand. Hey, what's up, New Zealand?
Yeah, howdy, New Zealand. Way to go. Way to behave yourselves over there.
Chris Johnson says, when does karate start?
We don't actually do karate in the garage. That's a quote for those of you that are not in the know.
More just slap in the foyer.
I don't know that I've ever punched you in the face. Like, I've never actually hit you.
No, you hit me in the face with a cast iron pan once, though. Remember that?
Yeah, but not with my fist. Like not with my hand.
Yeah, he never hit me with his fists, just with a cast iron pan.
Never with a closed hand. And outside of boxing class.
That's true.
Yeah. But I did hit you in the head with a cast iron pan once.
When I was in kindergarten.
I swung at you with all my might. Yeah, I like it's topical because you've been doing all the engineering on these sessions. We've been self-engineering.
Yeah.
This record so far. And it's been really, really fun to explore these sounds. Actually, I think we've been spending more, like when we made the first record, we just plugged stuff in until it worked. And literally, because we were working at Steve Bell's studio, who we're going to bring in for an episode of one of these at some point. But Steve Bell's a mentor of ours, and he's let us use his studio in the past. And we literally didn't know how it worked.
Yeah, I didn't understand the routing at all.
And so we were actually just plugging stuff in until we could finally hear it. Yeah. And that was
there was a lot of phone calls to Dave Zaglinski being like,
who manages
where are the LA forays in the patch bay, and also which way does the patch bay go again? Like just plugging things in. Yeah, I saw Dan Runyon he says he's interested in the engineering stuff. So here's
talk about that for a minute for sure.
Yeah. Here's the thing that I learned from Paul this year that's kind of blown my brain open, and it's he sort of explained it like this. Of course, I have no experience recording to tape. That's never something I've ever done.
Yeah.
I've never even been on a session where we recorded to tape. That's just wasn't when by the time I started doing sessions and stuff, that just wasn't happening. So the philosophy is to get as much level into the tape machine as you can. Now, and there might be somebody out there that knows better than I do, and if so, please speak up in the comment section. As you can, obviously without it distorting, because the tape machine itself makes, and the channels and everything make a fair amount of noise.
Yeah.
And so you get as much signal as you can going into the tape, so that there's as little noise. And maybe it's the tape makes noise after. So when you're mixing and you're turning things up, as you turn the signal up, then you get the noise. You get the noise that's on that signal as well. And Paul sort of explained to me that that's not really a thing when you're recording to a digital platform. And so you actually can get away with recording into Pro Tools or Logic or Cubase or whatever you're using quite a bit quieter. And that gives you a little more headroom on the faders themselves, because you have more resolution on the faders when they're up a little bit higher. So when you turn the fader down, it makes less of a difference as it does at the bottom of the fader. So you can get away with having a little less headroom going in, and then get more out of your plugins and bring the level up that way.
Right.
The louder the track is, the harder it's hitting your plugins, your compressors, your EQs, your processing, whatever it is you're doing, and it's going to affect the way it sounds. So it's actually quite a bit cleaner, and that has made a massive difference. So once I get my sound together, the signal path is happening. When I'm hitting Pro Tools, I'm trying to aim for about -6.
As opposed to
0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely a different approach for sure.
Yeah. And that's made a really big difference in just the quality of the tones, and I think my mixes have a long way to go before I would be very proud of them, but they're sounding so much better than they ever have, just because they're not slamming into everything. And I mean, there's ways to do that. Like if you record in too loud, and you're having trouble with headroom in your plugins, Pro Tools, and I'm sure Logic has a proprietary plugin for the same thing, but Pro Tools has a plugin called Trim, where you just put it in the first slot of your channel and you just turn it down.
Brilliant.
Yeah. You can also do it with clip gain, but it's clip gain to me is kind of like telling an elaborate lie. Sometimes you forget the lie that you're telling and you forget to do it, and then all of a sudden your track gets pooched, and it's because you cut a region somewhere, and you adjusted the clip gain on everything except for that region, and you can't keep track of it. So to me, it's just you put something on the bus itself, turn it down. Girl,
I have no idea
true.
what you're talking about.
No, that seemed clear as day to me.
Roughly.
So yeah, that, and then the other thing that I learned from Paul is that for like a relatively neutral sound, you want to compress kind of no more than -3. The more and more you compress, so basically what a compressor does is it takes any of the things that are loud and any things that are quiet, and they kind of bring them closer together. So when you hit a microphone really hard, it will reduce the gain. And so that's you might see on your meters, you can set them to GR, which stands for gain reduction.
Yeah.
And so when your meter is set to gain reduction, I try to aim for -3. So when the needle hits the 3, or it might actually say -3, that's kind of a nice and neutral amount of gain reduction. Any more than that, and you start to hear the compressor working, which is super cool for certain sounds. Sometimes it's great on acoustic guitar. A lot of times it sounds wicked.
It's got a place, yeah.
On as a parallel compression, so it's not like it's something that you can blend in like on a room mic sound or something like that. But if you don't want to hear the compressor, you just kind of want it to do its job just kind of quietly in the background, -3. So we'll set the first compressor, which goes before the EQ, and then the second compressor, which goes after, kind of to -3. And I'm sure lots of people have lots of opinions about that and have a lot of ideas. I would love to see kind of what other people are doing, but that's kind of what we do. And that's kind of our safe zone. And then when we want to go for some more bombastic sounds, then we'll hit the compressors harder. I have a pair of old DBX compressors that were made for like hi-fi. And a friend of mine, like record players and stuff, and a friend of mine said, hey, you should try one of these on your drum bus. Like as a parallel compression thing, and they sound awesome, and they're kind of trashy and wacky, and so I like to put those on room mics for guitars.
Cool.
Yeah. Sorry, that's probably super nerdy for some folks.
That's all right. So
But
people are asking.
You asked for
I'm
it.
gonna jump. I got a couple of questions popping up over
Okay.
here.
All right.
I'm and kind of take a bit of a turn.
Today's episode is also brought to you by President's
It
Choice
is not.
Sparkling Water.
It is not brought to you by them.
Well,
It's brought to you by us. This is a labor of love. This is a grassroots affair.
whatever, man.
Whatever. Um, Okay, here's a quick one just for those of you that are wondering, and often we get folks that are wondering about lessons with Joe. So Oliver says, "Hey there, good to see you. Nice to see you too. Is there a minimum guitar level required to jump into a guitar lesson with Joey?" Uh, Joe, you want to come?
Yeah. No.
No.
No minimum.
Yep.
I mean, it is a bit of a diminishing returns, I think. If you are brand new, it may be more cost effective for you to get started with someone local. And then when you're the lessons are not the cheapest thing in the world, that's for sure. So I am absolutely happy to sit down with you, but full disclosure, if you're brand new and you've never touched a guitar before, might be a little more cost effective for you to start with someone local and then work your way up and give me a call.
Yeah,
But
that's good advice.
I'm happy to sit down with you if you're keen. Let's do it.
Very cool.
joeylandreth.com/lessons if you're interested.
And if you are a member of our Patreon, you get a bit of a break on the lessons.
This is true.
There's a discount there.
There's
So
a bit of a
little bit
discount.
of incentive to join Patreon. I promise that'll be the last time I plug it.
Now it won't.
Probably won't. I like this question from John Vellante. Joe Vellante. Being Valentine's Day tomorrow, I'd like to know, how do you cope with commitments to music as well as your love lives and the ups and downs related to both?
Oh, man.
Hard-hitting question, Joe.
Wow, you're not pulling any punches, Joe.
No. Good question, though.
Great question. And something that we've talked about before. And it's hard. What?
Nothing. Sorry, carry on. I just saw a question here that referenced that said, "P.S. I'm concerned for the precarious Noble DIs behind you." And I was just like, is my Noble going to fall off the shelf? It's okay.
Are you happy, you big baby?
No, you can put it back. I don't mind.
No. I wouldn't want you to be uncomfortable.
Well, people were seeing it and they appreciate seeing it in the shot. Now it feels like there's a tooth missing on the shelf.
Well, there are consequences.
That's not for me. That was Patty.
Well,
anyways, carry on. So yeah. So Matt,
Patty, how you doing, buddy? He played bass with a pedal show live band.
Oh, cool. I just watched that clip on Instagram the other day. They posted it. It was great.
It was very fun.
Nice playing, Patty.
So yeah, that's a hard hitting question because it's definitely like one of the more challenging things about what we do. There's
Maybe
a lot.
I'd say the hardest.
Yeah,
I'd actually say it's the hardest thing.
Yeah, and you take this one.
Well, maybe we'll take turns.
Sure,
but I will say, like, complete.
Look at the folks at home.
Complete transparency. I think that's the hardest part about being a musician for a living.
Yeah.
The thing that we love to do the most takes us away from home, from the people that we love being with the most.
Yeah.
And that is something that you will never reconcile time away from loved ones. That's a hard thing to do. The best you can do, though, is I think, and I mean, this is constantly a work in progress for me and Roberta and I. But the thing that I think finally started us towards a path of at least being on a similar page was really opening up the dialogue about it.
Mm-hmm.
Starting to recognize that, like, time away was a family problem. It was something that we needed to address together, that we needed to be able to talk about, that Roberta needed to feel like she was a part of. Because when we first started our relationship, I didn't know how to, I just had no model for how that would work. And so the only thing I knew was, sorry, I got to do this. This is what I do. And also at that time, I was pretty convinced that this is who I am, as opposed to something that I do. And that, I think, was part of why I could not figure out how to make that an us problem, because to me it was just like, well, this is just who I am, which I've since discovered, because here we are in the midst of this pandemic. I haven't played music with musicians in over a year. Try and wrap your head around that. Not really. I mean, very few sort of weird half measures, but and I still exist. I'm still here.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I still am. So it's clearly not who I am. It's just a thing that I do, a thing that I love to do that means so much to me that I am willing to work really hard so that I can keep a part of my life, but it's still not who I am.
It's an interesting thing, at the risk of kind of taking a sidebar too far in the other direction, it is also something that, like, when you show an aptitude in the arts, it becomes a thing that people also tell you that you do and that you are. Like, people will say, "Well, that's just like that's who you are. You have to do it." And that's like, I think the intention behind things like that is very supportive, but it's actually pretty harmful,
Yeah.
and like, and what I've realized in hindsight now is that, like, that kind of thing actually puts a lot of pressure on you, because you start to hear that enough and you go, well, shit, like, this must be who I am, and I have to do this then, I guess. It must mean that I need to make all kinds of sacrifices to do this. And it's taken me, like, until, you know, I've been doing this for over 15 years, and, like, almost 20 years. And it's taken me until now, in the last year or two, to kind of realize, well, that's not true.
That's not true. Yeah.
That's like, it's something that I love to do, something that I'm very good at. It makes me happy to do it, and when I go through long periods of times of not doing it, my life feels unbalanced. But I'm also, like, I'm also a husband. I'm about to be a father. I'm a brother. I'm a son. I'm a friend. Um, Sometimes I'm employed, like, to work on other people's stuff.
Sure.
Like,
You're a
I'm a
producer.
lot of
You're
other yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm
yeah.
a lot of other things that need attention as well. And I was talking to our pal Tara Lightfoot the other day about this. I think it's actually, like, a pretty profound awakening to realize that, like, I am other things as well, you know? Presented with the question of, like, well, if you couldn't play and sing anymore, what would you do? Well, I know one thing for sure, I would still be Joe.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I knew that though.
No, I don't
I
think I
didn't
did
know that
either.
for a long time,
Mhm.
and I really like, and when I got off the road in 2016, when we put the band on hiatus, I really thought I was, like, ceasing to exist. That's how it felt,
Yeah.
and it took me years to really come to terms with the fact that, um, like, that I almost felt like it was like if somebody told you you were a vampire, and if you felt sunlight on your skin, you would burst into flames, and so you go through this all this time avoiding sunlight. That's kinda how I felt, and it was like I had this moment, or it wasn't like a singular moment, but it's a series of moments where you're just like, "Wait, I experienced joy today, and I wasn't on tour, and I was watching you chase your solo career, which was hard, so I'm very proud of you, but it was also hard to watch."
Yeah.
And but I remember having these moments of joy along the way and being like, "Well, maybe the sunlight isn't burning my skin.
Mhm.
Maybe I'm still whole. Like I'm still, you know,
You're still Dave Landreth.
I'm still Dave Landreth. Am I the best version of Dave Landreth if I'm not playing music? I mean, I think I have to work harder at it,
Mhm.
and I'm definitely grateful when I have balance and I have it all.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's like some deep philosophical shit, but
But it's really real, and I think it doesn't get talked about enough. I mean, there's all this mystery, around the arts, and definitely around music and creatives and all this stuff, and I think that it's fun. Mystery is fun, but
yeah,
I don't think it's good.
I
You
don't
know?
think it's
And I think
yeah.
I think there's, like, there's even, like, this weird pressure to be mysterious and not share these things. Like, this is a very real struggle, and it is, you're right, it's the hardest thing about what we do. And, you don't have to, you can still be a great performer and writer and creative, but also seek balance in your life. And I think, if anything, we've never we've never played better, we've never toured better,
I've never been happier,
we've never been happier than we have been in the last year,
and it's the least
2
I've ever
years.
played
Yeah,
while being like a
because
musician.
something came to mind while you were talking about this stuff, and maybe it's the first time I've kind of thought about this, but when you have these thoughts about, like, okay, this is what I do, this is who I am, this makes me who I am, blah 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 blah. Oh, by the way, I just heard the compressor when I said have, so I probably have the compression set a little too high on that. Have, yeah, there it is. Um, do you think that it also kind of comes with an interesting, like, sense of entitlement? Like, I have this pressure on me that I'm this creative, this is who I am, So I need to be able to do this, and I need to be able to do this at an extremely focused level. Like I think that was also a thing too, because I feel myself. I have felt myself in the past go like, how can you ask me for more? You know I have to do this thing.
Yeah.
Like I feel entitled to be able to do basically whatever I want, and in the past definitely have felt that my partners need to make room for this thing that I have to do.
Well, and you can't say that out loud without first acknowledging a certain amount of self-importance.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, no, you're totally. I think that's totally accurate. I remember reading, for those of you who have tuned in previously, you will maybe know that like I am Jason Isbell is one of my heroes, maybe my songwriting hero.
Yeah.
And I remember when he put out his record Southeastern, I read an interview with him. This would have been 2013, sometime around there. So this was a time when I still really felt like this is who I am, not what I do. And he wrote in that interview, or he spoke in that interview and said, um, songwriting is songwriting and playing music is just my job, and that's how I treat it. That's how I approach it.
Mhm.
And I remember being really cheesed out by that. I just thought like, well, no, man, I don't know. Like, no, obviously not. It isn't. It's who you are,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you're one of the greatest. You're my hero. You're like this vessel for human truth and beauty, and like can't just be a job. And I remember feeling like that took away from the way I saw him for a long time, until I came full circle and then thought about that after kind of having these realizations and being like, well, yeah, of course it's just a job,
Yeah. Uh,
because you are who you are. And ditto, like I watch that guy. He's like, he's a dad, he's a husband, he's a pal,
yeah.
you know,
And
he's a guy.
uh for me, I like I need the balance in my life in order to create music that I believe in. Like I need to like I haven't written a song. The last time I wrote a song, like on my own, that was telling one of my own stories was the day I moved in here. And that was in August. I haven't written a song since then because I haven't really been able to live my life. Like I am living my life and I'm happy, and Anna and I are having a great time being
Sure.
locked in our apartment. But like I'm not seeing people, I'm not experiencing things. I don't have anything to write about. And that balance is really important. And I mean like I think the thing to separate or to make note of is like being a writer, being a performer, being whatever is our job. I love my job.
Yeah.
I am excited to get up in the morning and go to work. It's not like it's just a gig, just 9 to 5, punch the clock, get home, watch the Bears. It's not like that. But it is important to have that separation, balance, moderation.
It's huge.
Yeah,
It's really tough to find though.
yeah.
You got to work for it. And okay, and to pull it all the way back to the first question, which was, um, yeah,
How do you
the
cope
up.
with your commitments to partners, loved ones?
I think just recognizing that you have a commitment to somebody else, to be a part of their lives, and them to be a part of your lives, um, and that, yeah, if it's my way or the highway, if it's a series of, what's that called when you do that to somebody?
Absolutes.
No, when you like
Oh, ultimatum.
ultimatums. That's not a relationship. That's not the mechanics of a
Yeah, yeah.
relationship sorting itself out and working together.
Somebody asked, how do I get my wife to let me do this? It's like that's not how it works.
That's the wrong question.
Yeah, because you know, Anna and I and you and Roberta, you know, in whatever way have come around to realize that doing this thing that we love does come with consequences, but ultimately it's what we love to do, and so they want us to do it,
Yeah,
even though it's hard.
yeah,
And when Anna and I moved to Toronto, it was because she wanted to explore. I didn't want to leave Winnipeg, but she said, "Hey, I think I really want to do this thing. I want to go to this school. I think it would be good for me for X, Y, and Z reasons." And it was like, "Okay, well, I want you to have that. I don't want to leave home, but I want you to do that. And so let's do it." And I'm going to go into it as enthusiastically as humanly possible because I need you to know that you are supported, whether or not I want to do it or not.
yeah,
And that was difficult, and I had a long think about it, but I remember kinda getting around to the point of being like, "Well, what's the worst thing that happens? We move to Toronto and we love it and we wanna stay. We'll figure that out if that happens."
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you survived. It was
You
tough, but you made it.
Yeah, totally, and I mean, Toronto still feels like home. I get off the airplane at Pearson and I'm just like, "Ah, I'm home."
Yeah,
You know?
I'm
And it
other
and it
home.
kinda hurts my heart sometimes when I go to Toronto because it's still home and I miss it. But anyway,
Yeah. I think, to pull it back to music, that I read something about, Chick Corea had we were reading them in the
Oh
studio the
yeah,
other day,
yeah, yeah.
a list of things, and something that he talked about was the idea that you should play and make music in a way that supports the other musicians. How do you
Hmm.
make the other musicians sound better? And I love that because I think that's fundamental to human relationships too. If at the core
Yeah,
of your marriage, you're trying to make music together in a way that makes each other sound as good as you possibly can, you're probably going to succeed.
yeah.
And the moment that we started talking about touring and our band schedule to collectively, like we started sitting around the kitchen table, the four of us, me and you, Anna and Roberta, and started talking about the schedule and what was coming up and what we wanted to do. Like then immediately it started to feel like we were succeeding and we weren't fighting
No,
each
because we
other
were
out.
collaborating
We were
and we were saying,
collaborating. Yeah,
what does it look like if we're gone for 7 weeks? And our partner's going like, that's not ideal.
that's too long. Yeah,
Okay, so what is ideal? 3 weeks, 4 weeks max. Okay, that feels great. And to be honest, man, anytime I've been away from home more than 4 weeks, it's honestly more than 3 weeks. It's
3 weeks.
brutal.
Yeah,
Three
that's
weeks
sort of
is
what we settled on.
3 weeks is the magic. If we
And
could do 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off,
yeah, and traveling together, finding ways to join us on tour
yeah,
and
bring the
making sense
family
for
along.
that. And
Yeah,
like now that we got little ones on the way, you got one and I got one. Yeah. Yeah, rest in peace, Chick Corea.
yeah, man, what a force. Do we know why he passed away?
No,
Oh
I don't
man,
know. Maybe somebody does, but
yeah,
um so karate in the garage is a lot of things. I mean, it's Joey and Dave waxing poetic about whatever we want to talk about,
yeah.
but it's also kind of a question and answer period. So if you have
AMA,
questions,
hit
if
us
you have
up.
questions, you're on Facebook, you're on YouTube, you're on Twitter, Periscope, you're on Instagram, leave them in the comments. I won't see the questions on if you put the questions in the stories on the bros page on Instagram, I won't see them unfortunately just because my phone is over there. Over there.
Uh,
Um, so if you got questions, leave them in the comments because I can see them on my laptop here. So questions in the comments. Oh, Eugene says Chikria passed the cancer.
ah, shame.
Um, Joe, baby question. Chris Monday says, "Hey Joe, complete aside, impending arrival. Did you guys find out boy or girl or going for surprise on arrival?"
Yeah, we're doing surprise on arrival.
That's fun.
Yeah, yeah, super fun.
I don't think you'll regret that.
I mean, no matter what happens, the baby will be there when the baby gets there. And so
It will be a baby.
it will definitely be a baby. My only preference is preferably human.
Yeah. Yeah, ideally.
Yeah. I listened to this sort of like radio show the other day. They were talking to these parents who were saying like, oh, forever and ever it's been, I don't care what it is as long as it's healthy. And then they had a baby that wasn't healthy, and they said like, yeah, I don't think I'll ever say that again because even though our son is not healthy and he had a serious complication sort of cognitively, I'm not sure what he
Oh,
had, but
jeez.
was basically like, yeah, very very developmentally delayed. And they said like, we still love this kid no matter what, and he's not healthy. So that I really took that to heart, because that's definitely something that I've thought too, like, oh, I don't care as long as they're healthy. But even
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 if
if
they
they're
aren't
not
healthy.
healthy,
Yeah. You
so my line has been, I just hope the baby's human.
yeah.
If the baby's not human, we'll figure it out.
We've got our fingers crossed for the right species.
Yeah,
Yeah, as long as we land there, we're happy.
yeah, yeah. You've given birth to cornflakes. Let's
Uh,
have breakfast.
oh. Marty says, Saturday music therapy with the bros.
Yeah, Marty, I'm sorry, man. I keep forgetting to connect with you. We keep missing each other, and I keep missing his texts and meaning to call him back. And I apologize, Marty. Let's hop on the horn this week. Catch up.
KJ Photo says, what town are you looking forward to visiting again most?
They
And
also say congratulations, you have a lizard. Thank you. I'm so happy that my baby is cold-blooded.
I'll be
Oh, are you cold? Just go sit on this hot rock. The best thing about having a lizard baby is they can clean their own eyes with their tongues.
Yeah. Don't have to do that for them. They got it covered.
Yeah, that's
And
the
their
thing I
limbs
was
grow back. Although you have to cut a hole in all of their baby onesies for the tail.
Yeah, that's true.
Um,
I was that's the part of parenthood I was really dreading, was licking the ice clean. So
yeah, no, glad you may be able to avoid that entirely if you are fortunate. I
sorry,
like
I derailed the real question
no,
that
I mean
K
it's
Photo was
fine.
asking.
I like this question because I'm starting to get antsy for travel for the first time. I've weathered most of this um, pandemic, feeling quite happy to be a shut-in and not wearing pants. Uh,
He is wearing pants right now. Those are
yeah,
not photoshopped on. They're
no,
real pants.
no, these are real pants. These are outer note jeans. They're very comfortable.
Hey, nice segue.
Um, yeah, I weathered most of it really well.
Mhm.
But Bert and I have been talking about it, and we are both starting to get like pretty serious travel daydreams. I think I lasted as long as I did because of
The baby.
the baby and also how much travel we've done in our lives. That I kind of like. I don't miss airports, man.
Man,
I
I'm
don't miss
dying.
airports.
We started watching the show called The Investigation, and it's a Danish show, and we've spent a fair amount of time in Denmark,
Yeah.
and I just cannot wait to hear a Danish person say Danish. I'm Danish. I just love the way they say that word. I miss it. I miss it. I want to go back to
Okay,
Denmark.
what part of Denmark do you want to go back to?
Tuna.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, what a great
The
festival.
the the greatest thing about what we do is that you just start to collect these deposits of beautiful people all over I mean, playing shows is definitely a perk, but like we have these wonderful friends,
You
these
get
wonderful
buds.
people,
You get buds all over.
and I miss them, you know, like, and
Hmm.
they're a part of your family. They become a part of your family,
Totally. Yeah.
you know. Ulrich and Maria and Morton Fogg and all these people that
Yeah. Those are the Danish pals.
those are the Danish pals, and there's more, and it's just like I miss being in Denmark because the people there are just delightfully different, and
Yep.
it's like it's wonderfully strange compared to what the way that we live, and it's always fun, and I mean Germany, Netherlands, I miss it all. The UK, all the places that we spend a lot of time, I really miss it. But I'm really growing. Like this time has really been like, holy shit, man, we have family in these places,
Yeah.
and it means something,
Yeah.
and
You miss them.
I miss them.
Miss
Yeah,
the people. Yeah. It
yeah.
always it comes down to the people. The travel appeals to like the perennial younger self. The actual travel, like the seeing a new place, the being in a new place, um, seeing old churches and incredible buildings
Hmm.
and bridges and sites that you're not
Well,
accustomed
just
to.
things like parking lots look different, and parking spots look different, and signs, they use a different
Sure,
font, and
sure,
things like
sure,
that. It's
sure.
just like it's just super cool. It's super cool.
But I find like that stuff like that really hits me in like the younger self, whereas the people that you miss, that's like the more recent part of myself, which is like I miss my friends
Yeah.
and those folks. But anyways,
Uh, Anders Hallgren says,
where's it at?
uh, oh, just somewhere in there. Says we got to come to Stockholm, Sweden, and we do have to go to Copenhagen. We've never been to Copenhagen. Only in the airport when I was on my way to Finland. Stockholm, Sweden. Would love to go. Keith Wilkinson. Do the Danish folks call a Danish, or do they just call it a donut? Well, I don't think it's a donut. It's
It's
pastry.
never a donut.
I don't know. Do you call them Danishes in Denmark? That might be a dumb question. Maybe that's why they're called Danishes, because they originated in Denmark. I'm sure that is the case. What do you guys call them over there? Or do you just call it an us? Hey.
It's probably just a pastry. It's
Would
just a
you
pastry.
would you like a strawberry us?
Speaking of family, can you Jeff Kavanaugh says Jeff lent me a really cool pedal that I have to ship back. I'm sorry, Jeff. Now that I see your name, I'm feeling sheepish because I meant to put that in the mail last week.
I have boxes and shipping material
Yeah,
here.
we'll get that back
We'll
to
get
you.
back to you.
Stat. It's a really, really cool pedal by Cuff and Wren called Wren and Cuff.
Renning cuff?
I don't know.
Renning cuff.
And I don't remember what it's called, but it's cool. It's a fuzz pedal.
Fuzz pedal.
Sounds great on
Sounds
this.
great.
And we used it on the record.
We did?
Yeah, we did end up using it on the record. So anyways, that's coming back to you. Apologies. So he says, speaking of family, can you speak to any instruments that you're playing that have been passed down through family? Dave, I know your main bass has family history.
Oh yeah, I have that telly that Dad built.
Yep.
It's in the back room.
You want to go grab it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll talk about my bass while you go grab your
Yeah.
guitar. My bass is at home, but I have my dad bought a 1980 Fender Precision Special P. He bought it brand new in 1980, I think. And then he gave it to me when I was about 10 years old. and I appreciate it so much. I think he regrets it to this day. I think he covets it still because it's a phenomenal sounding instrument. I don't think he realized how much he was going to miss it. But it's really cool. I've left it in considerably worse shape than I found it because I'm pretty hard on things. It's got a different neck on it because my dad took the original neck and planed it and turned it into a fretless. So I took that off and put on a fretted neck. And it's got 2 precision bass pickups, which is a kind of a strange mod that my dad did. So that kind of makes it unique. And then it's got a little brass V on it that's tipped upside down, so it just looks like that. And that used to live on my dad's bass strap, and he put that on there when he got sober in 1987. And I took that off the strap once the strap disintegrated and slapped it on the bass when I got sober as a bit of a reminder and just sort of a connection about that thing that we shared.
Yeah.
So I love that instrument more.
The V is upside down. Tip your vices out. Did you say that?
I didn't. Yeah. So the idea is that it's a V, and then when you tip it upside down, all your vices fall out. It's clever. It's clever, and it means a lot to me. And I do think about it every time I see that.
Yeah. This is the telly that Dad built.
Talk to. Oh man, that thing brings back. You haven't played that in a long time, but man, does that bring back memories.
I really should.
I bought you the neck for that as a birthday present.
You did. Yeah. This is the Warmoth that you built or that you bought. This was originally off of a 70s telly.
And Dad says, I do miss that bass. I know, Dad. I know. You can borrow it at any time. You can borrow it anytime. Carry on, Joe.
You can borrow it, but you cannot have it back. Yeah. And it was like it started its life out looking pretty different, and it's kind of eventually gotten back to this kind of thing. But yeah, it was a 70s telly that had a bunch of holes routed in the top, I believe. And John Sharples, who of Sled Dog Music fame, took the top off and put this book matched swamp ash on top, and it's just got all of this wear. Like this is real relicking.
That's finger gunk.
Yeah,
I can see it from here. It's greasy, man.
And it's got this is actually a Nordstrand telly pickup.
Oh yeah,
like a 60s voice telly pickup. And then this mini humbucker I bought because on the Seymour Duncan website it said that Robin Ford had one.
That'll do it.
And that's all I needed. Well, Robin Ford uses that. I'll take that, please. So I bought that. We put it in. And it's a cool sounding guitar. Dave, you bought me this neck for my birthday.
Yeah, I wonder how old you would have been. 20?
At the most, yeah.
Yeah, you've had it for a while.
It's a cool guitar. This was the first guitar that I ever played that I recognized that it had tone.
Oh, neat.
It had a sound, and I like started to really explore, like, if I touch it differently, it brings out different sounds. And I really connected with the guitar on this guitar. Yeah.
It's an old pal.
Yeah, it sure is.
Friend.
Yeah.
I'm going to switch over to Instagram because I feel like we've been neglecting them. We've tricked them into being here, and then now we're ignoring them. Joe Lado from Lado Guitars put that ash top on it, Dad says.
Ah, there you
go. Anyways, Danny from the Hammy.
Oh, hey Danny. Speaking of family away from home,
and Jen Dirksen is in the comments.
Nice.
Also, hey Jen. Matt Foster's having a kid today. Like, they're in labor today?
No way.
Yeah.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov.
That is awesome.
Congratulations, dude. He's in for such a wonderful adventure, as are you. Catherine Rowe says, got hooked on your Let It Lie album. I listen to it often. How successful has that album been? That's such an interesting question. Let's talk about success for a minute.
Yeah.
Success is something that you decide, I think, for yourself ultimately.
Yeah.
If you want to be healthy about it.
Success is 100% scalable.
Sure.
Because if your metric of success is to go from not having an album to having an album, tremendously successful. If your metric for success is to make a record that people like, very successful.
I'd say
tremendously successful.
Tremendously successful.
If your marker for success is made $2.4 million on album sales. Total
Not so
flop.
successful.
Total
Yeah,
flop.
that belly flop. Belly flop off the
Off
10
the
meter.
top rung. Just like folding chair in hand. Missed the mark.
Like,
landed flat on its face and knocked
oh,
himself out.
yeah.
And there he is, just sitting face down in the ring with his like little tidy whities, just like kind of hiked a little bit high, so you can kind of pulled up your butt crack,
Yeah.
like that.
But you know what? That's never been what this is about for us.
Never, not even for a minute. And the fact that that album can still bring people into our music and
bring them joy.
And yeah, it's such a gift. And
Yeah.
we had no expectations for that record. We wanted to make a record, we wanted to put it out, and our goals were like, we would love to use this to go and play some festivals around southern Manitoba. And
Yeah.
the fact that it's taken us around the world is just like,
It started our own TV show.
like, right?
To a live
With
studio audience.
Sponsors by President's Choice. Frick. We're actually not sponsored by President's Choice.
Yeah,
but
for
PC,
sure we're gonna get a cease and desist letter.
PC, we're willing to talk.
Yeah.
We love your
Come to the
bubbly
table.
water. Come on to the table.
Yeah, it's a great question. I love when people ask about success, because I think you're allowed to define your own success.
Mhm.
And my motto's always been like, shoot low, man. And you're like, we're like a Fortune 500 company, if by my metrics,
Oh, hell yeah.
by my standards.
Yeah.
It's never been about the money. It's always been about doing something that we love with integrity. And I think that record, we just got lucky. We hit it. We hit it on the head the first time, you know?
Yeah,
in a lot of ways,
and
like-
we did not know, and it was very lucky. We just sort of went into the studio and made the record with the skills we had and the songs that we had, and out came what that was. And we recorded originally 9 songs because we only had 9 songs.
Yeah. And then we added 2 more. We stole one from Dad. Thank you again for letting us borrow your song.
Yeah, and then we had a record with 11 songs.
Yeah.
And then we tried to stretch those out for 45 minutes every night for 200 days a year, and
for like 6 years.
For like 6 years. Yeah.
That record, we put it out in 2000. It initially came out in 2013, and we did not put out another record. Really, we did like the Undercover Brothers thing, but we didn't put out another record until you put out Whiskey in 2017.
Yeah, and then we didn't put out another Bros record until
19.
2019. Was it 19 when that came out?
Yeah, 87 came out in 19.
Friggin' heck.
So, anyways, Dale Wallace said, Dan Burchett says, I'm successful.
Nice.
Hell yeah, you are, Dan. Dan's a beast of a songwriter from right here in Winnipeg.
My bride and I, my ship, my sail, my dream, dreaming of thee.
Oh man, I listened to Lucky Day the other day, front to back, with Finn, and Dan. All those songs are brilliant, man. And you have Dan is one of the most prolific and talented songwriters I've ever met, and there is so much music.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much incredible music. But that record specifically, Dan, if you're still listening, is one of my favorites. I love Lucky Day, and I listen to it still a lot.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say? Sorry?
Dale Wallace says, "Love you guys. Call me back." Frig. Sorry, Dale. God, I'm the worst. Okay.
Do I need to call you back, Dale?
No, I need to call Dale back.
I'm out of that.
Okay. Note to self: got to call back Marty. Got to call back Dale. Man,
Got to send back Jeff's pedals.
That's a you problem.
That's an us problem. You're gonna help.
The boxes are in the back room. Help yourself.
Danny from the Hammy is asking.
What's he saying? I can't see that. From
how's the new album coming? Oh, he's asking on Instagram. He's asking, how's the new album coming? How is the new album coming, Joe?
It's coming.
Yeah.
It's going along. Yeah. We actually got like my favorite guitar tone we've ever recorded the other day.
We posted it on Instagram.
Yeah. It was so fun. It was my old brown face super.
Explain to people why. Okay, for those of you that have seen the clip, Joey's in the isolation.
In the booth.
Yep. And he's in the corner, playing to the corner, and I thought I was being clever, and I tagged on the bottom. Nobody puts baby in the corner.
It's not funny when you have to explain your punchlines.
But I tagged it anyways. And then why don't you tell people why you were playing? Like, walk us through that guitar tone.
So
a little bit. Because it was spectacular.
There's this outro for this one song that takes a pretty significant departure from the body of the song. The vibe of the song is actually pretty up-tempo, pretty poppy, actually.
Yeah.
Kind of got some sort of like almost 80s-ish, right? Maybe
a little bit.
It's kind of got, and it's one of the tunes that I brought to the table from what I thought was going to be my next sort of solo record.
Yeah.
and we decided, no, let's put this on
These
the
can
Bros
be
record.
Bros records, thank God, because I love both those songs so much.
Yeah. And so, and I just had this dream of this kind of floaty outro taking that song out. And I didn't really know how I wanted it to go. I had a few references. And then we ended up getting Aaron Sterling, who is one of our favorite drummers, plays in John Mayer's band, to play on that tune. And he just like had this, he brought the coolest vibe to the table. And it kind of took that what my original idea was in a different direction.
Which is one of the most fun things about making records.
Yeah,
Is just like,
and that's why we don't like to do a lot of pre-pro.
because we like to just explore it in the
Just
studio.
and if I did all this pre-pro and sent it to him, then he would be
Stifled creatively.
backed into the corner and wouldn't have been able to do the thing that he did, which is just birthed this really great idea. So we started by layering some. We layered acoustic guitar. We started layering some electric guitar. We had this really clean like Strat tone.
Somebody says can't hear you. Can you hear us on Facebook? I just want to make sure that we're not having technical difficulties.
Check 1 2.
Okay, carry on. I mean, worst case scenario, we're just like talking like idiots.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah. No, I think we're good.
Okay. So yeah, it started with a very clean Strat kind of tone, and Murray had said like, I kind of want to hear the exact opposite of this. Like, this is super clean and like really nice, kind of little bit of room tone, clean guitar. I want to hear something kind of nasty. And I thought right away, okay, well, my brown face super, that's what it does. Like, you turn it all the way up and it's gnarly. And so we took the Josh Williams Mockingbird, which is like a big body kind of 3-3-5 vibe thing with mini humbuckers, which are pretty bitey.
Yeah.
Like it's got Firebird pickups in it, so they've got this chewiness to them. And we got this tone together. It was really rocking, but Murray was like, I kind of want it to just like be doing this, you know. And I was like, well, I got to go in the room then if you want, you know, because that'll make it go. And we got in the room and it was like, so the only place that we could kind of get the right amount of controlled feedback so that it was just kind of bubbling like this was to have me behind the baffles, because I always put up well, not always, but I often put up a set of gobos in between and gobos are just like basically like big
sound
baffles to separate the sound of the cabinet from the rest of the room if I'm capturing a room sound. And that just kind of helps keep some of the direct cabinet tone out of the room microphones and allows the room microphones to capture more of the room. So I had to stand on the other side of the baffles facing the corner, and basically like where the baffles come together, there's a little gap. And so if I really wanted it to feed back, I would just tilt the guitar toward the crack and then like, you know, kind of like live mixing the feedback. It was so fun.
It was a blast for me too, because I think throughout this process, you've been doing a lot of double duty on stuff, and I can tell, you know, like your focus is shifted to all these different places. You're trying to get sounds, you're trying to actually engineer, you're working with Murray's giving you ideas, but like when you got in the room, and and that's why I posted that video, because it was so fun. But watching you get in the room and start moving around and bobbing, it was just like, and I told Murray at some point, it's not on the clip, but I told Murray, I looked over and was like, dude, he's playing guitar. Like, he's in the room playing guitar.
Right.
And it was so fun. It was so inspiring. I think he did probably 3 or 4 passes.
Yeah, I could have easily kept playing, but it was like, we got what we need.
Yeah.
You know.
But it was so fun.
Once we settled into that groove, I was like, damn it, we should have at least doubled that outro.
You know, that's like always less is more, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Except
for when more is more, you know what I mean? But we'll definitely double or triple it live. And my buddy Dirk, he saw that clip and he was like, I love that. Like, I got to come and sit in. Like, no problem. You come in and plug in, and you can take that thing for a walk.
I'm gonna throw a curveball at you, Joe. I know you. I'm gonna throw a curveball at you.
Okay.
Because I love the question. I love the spirit of this question.
Are you froze?
Am I frozen?
Oh,
no,
we're just behind. Oh, okay.
We're lagged a bit. Let me go find it. Male cat boy. Love the name. On Instagram says, have you ever played D&D? No. And what characters would you make? I haven't played D&D, but I would love to discuss for 3 minutes about what character you would create on Dungeons and Dragons if
Oh,
you had to
okay.
be
I
one.
was like, what are you talking about?
Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay, I don't know anything about this.
It's like Skyrim, but on like a tabletop board, and you have a dungeon master who sits in the corner and like makes all the rules, creates like the game, and then walks you through it. It's the coolest. I'll start and then you follow. Okay, usually when I play games like this, I haven't played Dungeons and Dragons, but I do love like fantasy games and stuff. And I'm usually a ranger character. I have a propensity towards like chaotic, good elves with like good sneak tactics. Like if there's like a friend of like a wolf, like friend of wolves, ranger, chaotic good, like half elf would be what I would be. And then what would you be?
Whatever character I could just put the most extreme clothing on. Like when I play Tony Hawk, Pro Skater, my guy has pink hair, purple shirt, tie-dye pants, multicolored wheels, rainbow deck. You know, like that's like whatever guy I can do up like that. That's my jam. I want them to look as ridiculous as humanly possible. I like if I can make it so that they're 8.5 feet tall and 110 pounds. That's my guy.
Okay, so like
or 3 feet tall and 300 pounds.
Chaotic, evil, dark mage, half ogre.
What's it like being such a virgin?
I have proof. I have one son to prove. We're not going to go
I'm sorry I said that. That was that. I'm a bully.
Yeah, don't bully me.
Sorry, what were you going to say? Bad guy or good guy, basically, is what you're saying.
Chaotic evil. So you're like, I'm like a good guy who's like on the edge. Like Jason Statham is a good guy.
I'm a drifter with nothing left. I'm a drifter with nothing left to lose.
You can hear that comp going,
girl,
right?
Yeah. So that's you, and I'm just like, I'm not a bad guy. I just want to see chaos reinstated in the universe. I just, you know.
Oh well, that's good. People are laughing. They appreciate it. Nigel Baker says rogue with -20 to stealth.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. Hey, you know what? We actually have to. This is going to be a slightly shorter episode because I don't want to leave the Instagram folks hanging, and we only have an hour on Instagram Live, right?
I don't think that's true.
Is that
you can? I think you can.
Oh, okay.
That was a thing for a minute. I bet.
Oh, Jen, can you let me know? Jen, can you let me know in the comments? Do we have an hour max?
Jen Wahoo says, "I love your band. You better." I'm just kidding. You don't have to love our band.
I'm gonna look for another question. Joey.
All right.
Here, somebody says we'd be heroes in a half shell. Also.
Ooh, turtle power.
Dan. Dan's so sweet. Dan sent us $10 and says, I've been enjoying the stuff you've been doing to connect with regular dudes like me, so I feel like I owe you this. I appreciate y'all and can't wait for the new album. Who will be in the tour band?
You don't owe us anything, Dan.
Yeah, you certainly don't.
The reason that
we're grateful.
The reason that we do this is because we feel like we owe you guys. So
100%. This is us staying in touch with you because we miss you.
Because we miss you, and we're grateful. You single-handedly give us a career. You give us the opportunity to do the thing that we love to do the most. And we miss you, and this is our way of doing that. But thank you. We're gonna buy 2 very nice cups of coffee.
Yeah. And in case there's any confusion, we work for you, not the other way around. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
kind of, mostly.
Yeah. I mean, nobody tells me what to do, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, I tell you
just
to do all the time.
Yeah, you're such a boss.
What's up with dealing line? That's a hockey question, Joe. Does that something you understand?
Excuse me, sir, does that something you understand?
Do we trade Line?
Yeah, he's gone. You know what? I don't know much about hockey. I enjoy hockey, but I really don't understand. You know, we'll ask Chipman. What were they thinking?
Yeah, we'll ask Chip. We're buddies with the owner, one of the part owners. Owner. Great guy. Really, really nice character.
Lovely man.
Yep. We'll ask him. We'll get the inside.
No, we won't ask him because he doesn't ask us why we do what we do. Sorry, we won't.
Oh, Dan's asking about who's going to be in the live turn band. That's a great question because it's a bit
of a revolving chair these days.
I don't know. Liam Duncan has been pretty solid in the keyboard chair, so I imagine as long as his schedule is open, that he'll be our first call for keyboards.
Yep.
And sort of the third guy on the front line.
Curtis Noah said Mike Carbone.
Dan Roy.
Those are the folks that have been occupying the drum chair.
Yep. And I think it just comes down
Sometimes Dave Landreth plays bass,
occasionally when he's available.
and sometimes Joe Landreth plays guitar,
When I'm
but
not
he's unpredictable.
when I'm not producing internet TV shows extremely well, I might play bass. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting because I anticipate that things are going to open up gradually, not all at once. Am I sitting funny? You're looking at me like I'm sitting funny.
No, I just realized that I don't think I have this mic set to Omni.
I wondered. I sound really different than
You
you
sound
do.
really good, yeah.
Do I sound better than you?
You do.
Do you want to check to see if it's on me?
It's gonna pop, but let's
No.
just do it.
Okay, Joey's going to check. I didn't think that I sounded better, only that I sounded different. TBH, to be honest with you. Oh, and Jeff kicked in 10. Now I sound very different. I don't know. Whatever. I care not.
What'd you say?
You can hear us. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
The people can hear us.
Oh,
Jeff
still not
Kavanaugh
better.
kicked in $10 because Anna and Roberta deserve coffees too. They deserve coffees far more than we deserve.
Oh my
coffees.
God.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll get coffees on the way home.
Hell yeah.
Oh, can I borrow your car?
Yeah.
Because I gotta change the battery in Stu's car. Our manager, Stu, we both drive. I sent a really funny comment to Mitch Mosden only in your Zoom masterclass because I didn't know how to send one to the whole class, and apparently I was just messaging back and forth with him, but it was hilarious. Joey was talking about how, again, you measure your success differently, and Joey's like, well, for context, I drive a 1997 Toyota Camry that my manager gave me.
Actually, that's Stu's partner Kale gave us.
Oh, Kale.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
and it's actually not it's not even our car. It's still Kale's car.
You're just allowed to drive it.
But Kale doesn't need it. And with the baby, she was like, "You need something that's not a 15-passenger van," which also our 15-passenger van died the other day. So
yeah, the engine blew up. Okay, so my joke was though that Stu Anderson, such a nice guy, he'll give you the car right off his back. Because I also drive his old car. He gave me his 2005 Volkswagen Golf.
When Finn was born, basically,
he gave Finn the car.
He gave Finn. Yeah. He gifted it to Finn. Yeah. So we're just a bunch of deadbeats who can't buy our own cars, basically.
Yeah.
You know what my dream is? This is okay. Listen, when people are like, if you could do anything, if you had any amount of money, what would you do? If I would buy a brand new Volkswagen Golf, fully loaded, automatic windows, leather seats, seat warmers, steering wheel warmer, the whole 9 yards. That would.
No way.
Yep, that's my dream car. I mean, if I had like.
I want a Tesla.
No. You're missing the point.
Okay.
If I had like, get the out of here money, I'd buy a Porsche 911, like an old one from the 60s. That would be cool. But like, I'm talking realistic. Like one day this could potentially happen. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna buy a Volkswagen. I'm gonna buy it with cash.
I like this, Joe.
What?
Joe Brennan from Massachusetts, right?
Yeah.
Joe Brennan from Massachusetts says $5,000 amps and guitars, beater hand-me-down cars. Absolutely, man. I got to put that money into nice instruments and diapers, realistically.
I don't know how to answer that, but yeah, he's right. Yeah.
Good point. With Dan. Okay, this is interesting. Dan McCain raises a very good point.
McCann.
Pardon me. McCann. Says, with all these cars he gives you, have you considered you're paying him too much? I kid. I'm not kidding. Stu, let's talk about that. No, Stu does not get paid enough for the shit that we put him through.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. We working pretty hard. That dude works so hard for us and all the writers and all the artists.
I think I'm going to put it back in the mode it was. At least you sounded good.
Sure. Okay. Mike Carbone says, he's laughing. Dave, I want a Tesla. Joe, no, you don't get the game. Oh yeah, no, I don't get the game, but I do. If we're asking about cars, I want a Tesla. You got to manifest destiny.
I am manifesting destiny. I want a Volkswagen Golf.
We didn't finish our conversation about band members, which Mike is reminding me of. The reason that I'm really curious about how things are going to play out in the next little while is because I feel like the world's going to gradually reopen, and that I feel like there will be a handful of shows that we're able to do that have less to do with musicians' availability and more to do with who can we hire from a certain zone where they can safely travel from without having to quarantine for 2
Right.
weeks.
So we're in the process of designing musician robots with
They're called drum machines, and they're perfect.
drumists.
They're
You know what? I was talking about this with Anna the other day, and for whatever reason, there's I find the word like guitarist to be kind of pretentious. And somebody's like, "Oh yeah, he's the guitarist
Would you
from this
prefer
band."
guitarer?
Well, guitar player, but then I've also come up with like my response to that is like guitar playist. Yeah, Liam Duncan is our keyboard playist. I don't know why, and it's not logical. I just like there's something about it when somebody's like, so and so was the guitarist for 12 years in that band. I'm like, I don't know why. I don't know why.
It's a weird word. It grabs you in the wrong way.
It just grabs me in the wrong
You know
way.
what? Another one is when people vape. That word, it just every time I hear it, like it makes
Like when you see somebody vape, you're just like,
it's not even the act, it's the word. The word is just upsetting to me. I don't know why. I just don't like it. I'm
you
not
don't like
into
it as a verb.
Yeah, it's just a word. No offense.
Like, but what if there's vape? I guess we don't vape. There's vapor. It's vaping is the act of consuming vapor. So why don't we say vaporizing? Why don't we just say smoking? Smoking vapor? I don't know. Anyways, moving on. We're both pretentious, and we should take back what we just said for the last 3 minutes.
Yeah, I'm gonna comment.
I apologize.
Jen. Okay, y'all. The deal here. Jen Dirksen is the marketing manager at our label and is always our go-to for social media questions. And I asked them whether Instagram would last after an hour, and Jen has been sort of feeding me info, and apparently we're still up and running, which is great. We're not using a third-party app, Jen. I just have my phone sitting over there as well as Joey's phone. So Joey's phone's up there, Dave's phone's down there. We're just multitasking. But I'm so glad it worked because I was worried that we would just die on Instagram and leave all these people hanging, which would be not nice.
Ben Kirkham says, Dave and Joe.
Oh, I'll put it up on the screen. This is hilarious.
I play a game called Shatner with a friend where we shout or text Shatner at each other, and you have to do whatever you are doing in the style of William Shatner. What tour games do you do? So
we do not play games like this, Ben.
We do. We have played a game called Odds.
Tell them about Odds. I have to pee so bad, Joe. I gotta bounce. I'll be right back.
There you go.
Hang tight. I waited as long as I could.
That you do what you got to do.
Tell
So
them about Odds.
yeah, we do this thing called Odds, which was taught to us by a band that we toured with, who became very, very dear friends of ours, called the Ballroom Thieves, and they played Odds, and they taught us how to do it. And so you basically say, "Hey, Dave," we'll imagine he's still there. "What are the odds that you play tomorrow night's show with all of your clothes completely backwards?" And he would say, you know, if he was like open to the risk, he would say 7. And so I would then count to 3, and then on where 4 would go, we both say a number. Or how does it go? Yeah, we both say a number, and if we say the same number, he has to do it. If he decides to default on that, then he owes me the number that we picked, 7. He owes me that many anytime push-ups, of which I can call upon him to do at any time, including during a show. And so there was an example of this, and the good folks of Glasgow, Scotland, may remember this from a show that I played there. Oh God, what was the name of the venue now? I can't believe I can't remember. The one in the basement on Sauchiehall Hall Street. And Roman had oddsed me to wear something ridiculous during the show, and I couldn't bring myself to do it. And so during the show, I was about to go into a song, and then he asked me to do 12 push-ups. So I had to get down and do 12 push-ups in the middle of the show. Just explaining odds.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. And my favorite one was when Cody Owasiuk actually had to wear his clothes backwards for a full day. that was super funny.
Cody got a couple of good ones.
He got a couple of good ones. Yeah,
He
yeah.
was bold. He never hit in the corners. He
There,
always picked
there
low
was there
numbers.
was one where we won't talk specifics, but somebody was to draw something upon his face with a Sharpie, and the odds were massive. So, and then the other rules are you can't pick. Well, you can, but you really shouldn't pick beyond 100, because if you go beyond 100, you're a bloody coward. So he picked something like 1,000, and it was to write something on his face with a Sharpie, and you guys said it was like 465 and 466. It was next door neighbor numbers, and the whole room was just like, you guys at the same time were like 460. We're like, ah!
It was so close.
It was amazing.
It was so close. It was like 3,632.
Yeah.
And it was like 31 and 32. And like it happened, we were in perfect lockstep. And it was one of the greatest moments of my life. I thought I was gonna peg his number and like read it from his lips and then be able to draw a wiener on his head.
I was trying not to tell people what
I let the
what shenanigans we get up to.
We are that base sometimes.
Well, I'm not.
You tell me you would not have been rejoiced at the idea of drawing
No,
a phallus on your drummer's forehead in a Sharpie.
No.
Well, I would have enjoyed it for you. Hey Ben, are your kids still up? I guess it's early.
Mom says a vapist?
No. No. No, I don't like it.
Pianer.
Oh yeah.
Joey, you must have just had lunch. I'm not sure what that means.
Dad is recalling a certain time. Dad says, "Who ended up with a target shaved onto their chest?"
That would be Devin Mock of the Ballroom Thieves, and
he lost an odds.
He lost an odds. I was driving from Toronto to Quebec City. It was the beginning of that run where you had to stay home.
I was home with Roberta.
And Dad was playing bass,
and Dad played bass.
Yes, and we got to Quebec City one day early. I went out for dinner with the Thieves, and Devin had one too many and lost an odds, and I got to shave. He's a very hairy man, he's a gorgeous lumberjack, and I got to shave like a 3-ringed target into his chest, and that was awesome. It was awesome. Like nobody knew it was there. I just knew it was there, and
you got to go through the whole tour just knowing how itchy
he was. Yeah. It was great. Yeah, thanks for that, Dad.
Ben's kids are still up, so we should tell him.
Yeah, Nell, actually, it was really nice to meet you earlier today, Nell. I'm sorry if I embarrassed you, but Nell and Mabley, it's time for bed.
It's probably not time for bed, but it will be soon, because
it's time for bed when Dad says so.
Yeah, when your father says, or your mother, or anybody in your household that's a trusted adult says it's time for bed, we need you to take them seriously, and we do need you to go down without a fuss. And remember, if you go down and have a great sleep tonight, you're gonna have an awesome day tomorrow. So, meet me in the middle here, right? No, Mabley, go to bed.
Go to bed
when it's time. Yeah. Usually we do the show at a different time, but
again, that's right. Yeah.
Why are we doing it at a different time today? Thank you, by the way, for accommodating me, and thank you to everyone who's joining us, who's accommodating us at this different time. My son's nap schedule is all over the place. Saturdays are family day. Roberta has made room for me to be able to do this on family day, but she appreciates it if I can time it with a nap, so that
makes sense.
We can spend as much time together as a family. Because typically, I'll just let you in on sort of behind the scenes. We've been very busy. And we really don't see each other during the week as a family, because I watch Finn in the morning, and then at 1:00 I pass in Roberta and she watches him for the afternoon.
And you come to the studio.
And then I come to the studio and work, or I'm in the office working on label stuff. So we're just tremendously busy. So Saturdays are really the only day that we spend together, and so it's become kind of sacred. So this allows us to work around that. Very grateful.
Joe Brennan says the only thing more pretentious than the word guitarist is Joey using that trackpad on his leg. What trackpad? I don't know what you're talking about. Oops, I just beamed your Noble's DI with the trackpad.
I think
is that even more pretentious?
Yeah.
No, the trackpad's fine. It's bulletproof.
What does Dad say? Who ended up with the target shaved into the chest? Yes. Did Dad say something else?
I don't know. I can't see this. I need to get my prescription changed.
That's okay. Somebody, Anders, is asking about Mom, and says, so is Mother Landreth playing any instruments or singing? Yeah, my mom's got a beautiful voice. Our mom has a beautiful voice. We share the same mother.
We have the same mom.
Yeah.
And the same dad.
Same dad, same mom. It's brothers. And she's got a beautiful singing voice, and she plays piano.
Mhm.
really beautifully. I remember
She actually plays a little guitar too.
plays a
You
little
don't see her
guitar.
do that very often.
No, would be hard to stand in your shadow, to be honest. You know,
That's not fair.
no, I'm just
It's
kidding.
not fair to me.
Um, no, she plays beautiful piano, and one of my fondest memories as a kid growing up was watching my mom play Furley's on the piano, and also we had sheet music for
Moonlight Sonata,
Moonlight Sonata, but
Moon
Moon
River.
River, and she would sing and play Moon River, and that memory is like the smell of your grandma's cookies in the oven. It's just like that's a very safe.
Walking home from school and hearing the piano come down the street.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yes, mom was a tremendously musical as well. We got it from both sides. We were surrounded by uh, beautiful musicians and great music growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very fortunate. So thanks
Thanks for
asking.
asking.
Something. Somebody's asking about something. The song "Something" is stylistically different from what we are used to hearing. Could you describe the inspiration for that song and what made you want to put it first on 87?
Yeah. I heard my friend Champagne James Robertson play a version of Everybody Wants to Rule the World. He's a really killer guitar player. The guy who inspired me to play an open C.
He's a monster.
He's an absolute monster. And when I was living in Toronto, he had a gig on what's the cross streets? But
there's a lot of streets in Toronto.
I know. The Dakota Tavern is on
Ossington,
and
Dundas.
so it's on Ossington, a place called Reposado.
Oh, the tequila bar.
Yeah, and
I
he
used to love that.
He
spot.
played there fairly regularly, and we went down to see him play a handful of times. And one of the tunes in the repertoire was "Everybody Wants to Rule the World," and I was really inspired by the guitar sound that he came up with. So I went home and started messing around, seeing if I could recreate it, and something was born.
Yeah, and
so it's like when people are like, "Man, it really sounds like that Tears for Fears song."
Yeah. We're pretty shameless about wearing our inspirations on our sleeve. Like, yeah, the 100% we were channeling the vibe of that song.
Yeah, I'm never embarrassed when somebody's like, "That sure sounds like." Yeah,
totally. Yeah, nothing to hide from. We're all standing on the shoulders of giants. We talked about that before. Yeah, and that song, I think, is definitely I don't know. It was fun to make that song because it was such a departure for us.
Yeah,
and I think this next record will be a step in that direction a little further. Like, there's definitely like there are tried and true bros vibes
for sure
on this record, like Americana roots, bluesy. You'll hear that. You'll find if you come to our music for that kind of thing, you'll definitely get it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a handful of tracks now that are sort of broadening the spectrum, and I'm really enjoying that. That's really fun. What are you reading?
I'm just looking at the comments.
Oh, okay. It looked like you were really into something. Joe, the tequila bar. Yeah. I mean, back before I got sober, I really liked the tequila bar. I don't care about the tequila bar now, but we used to go there.
They also had good food.
I don't remember it for the food.
Yeah, that whole like corner of Dundas and Ossington, there's like the communist daughter.
Yes, another bar that I loved. Famously, I had a great hang there one night with somebody who we were sitting there having a drink. This so dates me to at least 10 years ago, 11 years ago. And so it was one of those moments where you're sitting at the bar with somebody and somebody's just like, you know what? I hate that band. And started trashing Metric. And Emily Haynes was sitting right behind them. And I was sitting at the bar like this. Emily Haynes is the lead singer of Metric. And I'm sitting at the bar like this, and this person sitting in front of me, and Emily Haynes is facing me. This person is sandwiched with their back to her, and it's just destroying the band Metric. I'm like, how could you have timed this so incredible? Like, how could you possibly?
Did she say anything?
No, she didn't say anything. She just sat there the whole time looking at me like this, and I was just like,
it's just like cue Tim the Toolman Taylor.
The dude, one of the dudes who works at that bar was a great trumpet player and would whip out his trumpet and jam along to what was playing.
Sweet.
On the house stereo. And it's like you can fit like 10 people in there.
Yeah, it was tiny.
It was great.
Trumpet in that room would actually be quite obnoxious.
He was a very, very, very
like very Miles Davis about it.
Yeah, he was a really great trumpet player. Cool. At least I remember him being a really great trumpet player, but
who knows? Maybe he wasn't that good. You were just that drunk.
It could have been.
Come on.
I don't want to glorify the drinking days, but I remember that corner. I spent so much time.
Yeah,
in
it's
that
a
corner.
great spot. It's a great spot. By the time I got to Toronto, I was also sober, so I didn't do a lot of bar hopping,
Yeah.
but I did spend some time in there beforehand.
There's a place right beside the Dakota that my friend Greg Cockrell worked at. Who's a great singer-songwriter.
Oh, what's that
wonderful
place?
guitar player.
Minor
Opera
Opera Bob's.
Opera Bob's.
Yeah,
So it was like the Communist Daughter, Opera Bob's. Communist Daughter's not right there, but it's close.
super close.
Yeah. Opera Bob's.
Communist Daughter, Subway,
Yeah.
the Dakota.
Reposado.
Kelsey Assad very kindly bought me a sub there one night. She was just like, "You're poor, you're broke, you can't afford this. Are you hungry?" I'm like, yes, please. She bought me a sub. Thanks, Kelsey. If you ever see this, love you. Yeah, it was good times. Good times. Good food on Ossington, man. Oh man, I miss living there sometimes.
Yeah.
Stu took Anna and I for Indian food on Ossington one time. It was like the best. I can't remember the name of the restaurant. It was like the best Indian food ever in my life.
Nice.
Anyway,
okay. You know what? Let's wrap up.
Yeah,
let's wrap up. I'm going to take one more question.
Let's do one more question.
Dad says, Dad, this won't count, but Dad says, is that a huge reefer behind your ears, Joe?
Why, yes, it is. No, it's actually today's episode is brought to you by Apple Pencil.
We're definitely going to get a cease and desist from that.
Nice. Hey, no, I was going to say something nasty, and I
don't do it.
It's an Apple Pencil, but you can believe that it's a reefer if you want.
Yeah,
because it's legal here.
Yeah, totally. Smoke all the Apple pencils you want.
Smoke all the Apple pencils. Anyway. I'm building a copy of your Novo. I love your playing.
Jake Richmond says that.
I don't have a Novo.
Oh. Maybe you do and you don't know.
I don't think so.
Aaron Lewis is asking about
killer guitars. Enjoy your Novo.
Oh, is that Sean McCarthy?
Where?
Sean McCarthy _8. Thanks, bros. I look forward to these chats on Saturdays. Hey, thanks, Sean. Is that the same Sean McCarthy? Is that our...
The Sean McCarthy you're thinking about is normally Mac Star.
That's what I was confused about.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
I don't know. But if you're a different Sean McCarthy, thanks, man.
What's up?
And if you're the same Sean McCarthy, love you.
Yep.
If you're not, we'll love you also.
Totally. And for anybody who joined, oops. I don't mean that. Oops. Jeez. Anybody who joined late, we're going to save these and post them so that you can go and watch them later if you want to catch the first bit. Okay, sorry. Focus. Somebody's asking about the
I like
George
this
record.
Thanks, guys. This is really like getting to watch Jimmy Page and John Paul Jones sitting around chatting. That's how much you guys really mean to some of us. Thank you so much for saying so.
That's really
nice. That's a really nice.
Those guys are like the greatest.
They invented it all.
Yeah, much of it.
Lots of it.
Bits and pieces of it.
Bits and pieces. Okay.
Man, John Paul Jones is a serious, like, you can't say somebody from Zeppelin is underrated.
No.
But like, I think when you think of Zeppelin, you think of Jimmy Page, and you think of
I hear what you're saying,
Bonham.
but you also think
do you think of them all?
You think of them all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Like you don't say Led Zeppelin without saying Robert Plant. You know, maybe of the
he's the Ringo
of the Zeps.
He's the Ringo of the Zeppelins.
Maybe John Paul Jones is the less mentioned. I don't know.
Okay.
Let's ask Jeeves.
Let's ask sjeeves.com. Okay, I'll just say though that I think John Paul Jones is a freakishly great bass player. He was super inspired by my brain hurts.
Water polo.
My Motown.
He loved
my Motown
water polo.
hero.
James Jamerson.
He was a huge James Jamerson fan, and you can hear it in a lot of that Zeppelin stuff.
Definitely.
Anyways, total side. Joey, oh my God, let's get to this question. You mentioned a little George Little Feat tribute album EP record a couple weeks ago. Is that still coming to you from Aaron Lewis? Tell us about that, Joey, because it's happening.
I'm going to pick a random date. July 16th. I'm going to try and put it out by July 16th.
You put a lot of pressure on me. We'll get it done. That's possible.
That's possible. Yeah. The only thing left to deliver is masters and the album art.
Yep. And I will take care of I will get the masters teed up for you.
I have a few things to just finish off on that question.
But I'll get you the IRCRC and stuff.
You're witnessing some of the very boring like business minutia. You got the IRCRC codes? Yeah, okay. I'll fill out the questionnaire. I'll make sure the files are all in order. Here's an interesting thing. We're gonna do vinyl, and anybody who's interested in ever making vinyl, try to keep your sides 20 minutes or less if you can.
Yeah, 18 minutes apparently is
18
ideal.
minutes is the ideal. So the Lil George project is 7 songs long. It's short, and it's going to be, there's actually going to be 3 cuts on side A and 4 cuts on side B, because there's some short songs in the second half, and they're going to be around 14 minutes, so it's going to sound
Oh, it's gonna sound
it's going
awesome.
to sound really good.
Where are we gonna print the vinyl? Do you know yet?
Not sure. I mean, we typically use standard.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
They'll be
I want to
thrilled
do
it.
something really fancy. I want to see if we can do like the halftime pressing, like really make it hi-fi.
Yeah, cool. We'll check it out.
But I don't know enough about that to say definitively. But July 16th is going to be the day that we are throwing darts at, hopefully, to try and get it close to there. It'll be some Friday in some month of this year.
Yeah.
For
Okay.
sure.
Last question. Anders Hallgren, longtime listener, first time caller. No, Anders is very active in the chats.
Yep.
We're always glad to hear
Regular
from
caller.
Anders.
Welcome back to the Lion, Anders.
Okay, sorry. My apologies. He's asking about Better Now from 87. So maybe we'll talk about that song for a minute, and then we'll wrap this up.
You talk about it.
Yeah. Could I?
Mhm.
So
I'm going to, as you start to wrap up, I'm going to start rolling the outro music, so don't get distracted.
it's gonna be hard. I'm gonna take an ear out just so I don't get distracted.
Okay.
So Better Now is a song that I wrote for my wife when I was in an incredibly difficult spot in my life, and I'd gotten off the road and was focusing on being a better husband and just being more present in my life and for my partner. And that song came out in one fell swoop, and I brought it to Joey, and he made it beautiful, and we worked on it together. But that song, I didn't realize it at the time, but that song was me writing about the man that I wanted to be in that moment, and I wasn't. I was trying to be, I was struggling with it. I didn't know how to be. But that was like a bit of a
That tune was Manifest Destiny.
that song was Manifest Destiny, and I think I've written 2 love songs for my wife. I've written Better Now and Master Plan. And I think they both sort of occupy different territory for me, but like Better Now, really, I didn't know what it was when I was writing it. It just happened. And then looking back on it, it was clear. It's like I wrote that song because that's who I wanted to be. And it sort of set the marker for me. Interestingly. There you go.
It's really beautiful.
Thanks. Hey, everybody. This has been Karate in the Garage.
Joe and Dave from the Brothers Landreth. Today has been February 13th.
And will be for
another handful of hours, depending on where you are in the world. We absolutely love spending this time with you folks. So thank you so much for joining us on all of the social media platforms. And we are and have been, will continue to be the Brothers Landreth. Yeah. And hey, I love you.
I love you too. And you guys take care of yourselves. Be kind to each other. Be patient.
Stay safe.
And we'll see you next week.
Absolutely.
All right. I would have to run